Lord, how can we be praying in Nigeria and you are answering prayers in Gabon, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali? This is the content of what is supposed to be a funny meme going around. After the Niger coup, there has been increased agitation for something similar in Nigeria. When you add a very contentious election, multidimensional poverty, broken infrastructure, and a failed economy, some will say it's not out of place for such agitation. 2 days ago, the Nigerian Labour Congress issued a statement announcing a 2-day warning strike to shut down the Nigerian economy due to what it described as extensive hardships and deprivation afflicting the citizens across all the states of the Federation. I am sure what they are really hoping for is that this strike action will be the catalyst to a mass revolution that will in turn lead to a change of government by any means necessary. In other words, they don't mind a coup. Coups are suddenly fashionable. Even in America, there are some conservative fundamentalists who desire a coup to remove the Biden administration. What's my take on this? I am sad and I am scared. Nigeria is different from the 5 francophone countries that have experienced coups recently. We have an Emilocom presidency whose people will vehemently reject any attempt to truncate what they believe is their turn. We have the Southeast and South-South who will immediately pull out of the Nigerian nation if the coup doesn't place one of their own in power. We also have an overburdened populace whose reaction no one can predict. This means a coup in Nigeria might lead to another civil war. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, and the whole congregation said unto them, Would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness? And wherefore hath the Lord brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt? And they said one to another, Let us make a captain and let us return into Egypt. Winston Churchill said those who fail to learn from history are condemned to repeat it. What you are about to hear is my story, our story. On June 11th, 1994, Chief MKO Abiola declared himself President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the eve of the first anniversary of June 12th in an attempt to claim his June 12th, 1993 presidential mandate at Ekpetedo, Lagos Island. He went into hiding after declaration for fear of being arrested. He was arrested on the 23rd of June 1994 on charges of treason, and on the 5th of July 1994, New Peng and Peganson began the longest strike in the history of Nigeria to protest the annulment of the June 12th election of 1993. And 3 days later, we Nigerian students from Lagos, Edo, Ondo, Ogun, and Oyo hit the streets in what is now known as the June 12th riots. We went out knowing we were dealing with the most brutal dictator in Africa. And oh boy, he showed us how brutal he was. Benin and Ekpoma were on fire, and eventually Abacha sent units from the north to come after us. They had my name and came after me. They raped and killed students, and I watched the horror as I ran through the bushes at night. I escaped from the school a few days later through the help of a lecturer who dressed me as a girl and ran to my family house in Benin. I will be forever traumatized by the screams of those girls and the bloodied bodies of students on the streets. Guess what? They crushed the riots until today. There was never any panel of inquiry to look into what the mobile police and military did to us then. Parents grieved quietly. Some girls who were raped denied this to hide their shame, and some didn't return to the school. For those who have forgotten or those who were not born then, that's a picture of military rule. Most of us experienced the NSAS riots recently under a so-called reform dictator. Until today, we don't have the full body count. If we experience that under a transformed military dictator, then imagine what will happen under a full-blown military leadership. Your rights and civil liberties will disappear overnight. God forbid. We must never, ever return to Egypt, no matter what we experience on the journey to the promised land. The Israelites said, "Let us go back to Egypt." They stoned Moses, Aaron, Joshua, and Caleb. God was vexed. How can those who are delivered from the brutal hardship of Egypt now say they want to go back to Egypt? How can Nigerians who got delivered from military rule now clamor for military rule? Do you know how many people died for the liberties we enjoy today? You know about Abiola because the history books tell his story. You know about me because I'm here to tell my story. What of all the unsung heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice so that democracy could come to Nigeria? God delivered our nation from wicked men. I'll never forget my first visit to Abuja under Abacha and how I made a disparaging remark about his government whilst eating in a restaurant. The next thing I realized, I was on the floor and blood was oozing out of my nose and ears. I had been slapped by a security agent in plain clothes for daring to speak against the military government. The Israelites now enjoy liberties they didn't have in Egypt so they could protest against Moses and Aaron. Today, we can say whatever we like on social media. I can go on any TV station and speak my mind against government. Who born monkey to try this under the military government? As individuals, we are all on the journey of life. As a nation, we are on a journey to the promised land. Looking back is not an option. Remember Lot's wife. Going back to Egypt is not an option. Remember the Israelites. God was so vexed that the people we had delivered out of Egypt contemplated going back and he was going to destroy them. But Moses said to him, "Pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of these people according unto the greatness of thy mercy, and as thou hast forgiven these people from even until now." And the Lord said, "I have pardoned according to thy word. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and hath followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it." Today, I beg of you all, never, ever mention military rule as an option again. The innocent shed their blood for the freedom we enjoy today. No matter the obstacles, turmoil, trials, and tribulations you might be experiencing in your life today, going back to Egypt is not an option. Stay the course. This journey is our refinery. We emerge from this journey refined, better, and more valuable. God, who started the process, will complete the process only if we stay the course. Don't let fear take hold of your heart in the middle of the river. Remember Peter. This message today is for me. I wake up worried and afraid. What does today hold for my family and I in this land? What does the future hold for us? God says, remember where you are coming from and hold on. Tomorrow will be better, and if tomorrow comes and it doesn't hold what you expected, remember the fact that you are alive means that tomorrow will come again. Hold on. God bless you all.